Everyone says, "You're doing great, you've got a good job." You look at your pay stub, 70-something K a year, and think, yeah, I'm basically middle-class royalty. Then rent hits, groceries hit, taxes hit. Tim Hortons raises the price of a Timbits box again, and suddenly your royalty title feels more like court jester. Welcome to the Canadian Climb. I'm your Maple mentor, and this is where we make money make sense for Canadians who don't own a cottage yet. Today, we're talking about why a so-called good salary still feels like you're running on a treadmill made of tax forms, credit card statements, and Uber Eats receipts. Let's be honest. The term good salary in Canada has become more of a meme than a milestone. When someone says they're doing well, what they really mean is they can still buy groceries and haven't cried during online banking this week. It's survival with a side of subscription fatigue. When people say a good salary, they usually mean something between $65,000 and $90,000 a year. That sounds solid, respectable even. But once you start adding up what life in 2025 actually costs, that number falls apart faster than a downtown apartment's drywall. In Toronto or Vancouver, the average rent for a one-bedroom sits around $2,600. Add utilities, phone, internet, groceries, transit, the occasional night out, and boom, $4,000 is gone every month. That's $48,000 a year just to exist. You've spent more than half your gross income before you've even saved a loonie. Congratulations. You're above minimum wage, but just barely keeping pace with inflation. The math is brutal. On a $75,000 salary in Ontario, your take-home pay after taxes is about $4,600 a month. Rent takes more than half. Groceries and gas eat the rest. And the moment your car insurance renews or your hydro bill spikes, your so-called good salary suddenly feels like a balancing act performed over a pit of overdraft fees. So why do so many of us still feel broke when technically we're earning more than ever? Let's break it down. Reason 1. The Canadian comfort illusion. We're raised on this polite version of the American dream. If you have a steady job, a used car, and the occasional Timmy's run, you're told you're doing fine. But fine isn't freedom. It's maintenance. You're not getting ahead. You're just staying afloat in a country that quietly keeps moving the goalposts. A generation ago, a single income could buy a home and feed a family. Now 2 full-time workers can barely afford a mortgage on a townhouse an hour outside the city. And we normalize it. We pat ourselves on the back for surviving a game that was designed decades ago for rules that no longer exist. Reason 2. Lifestyle creep. The moment your income rises, your expenses sneak up right behind it. You get a raise, and suddenly, that studio apartment feels too small. You deserve better. You swap your car for one with heated seats. You order delivery more often because, hey, you've earned it. But here's the thing. Every time you upgrade your life to match your paycheck, you trade long-term comfort for short-term dopamine. Your good salary just buys the same stress in nicer packaging. You don't escape the hamster wheel. You just paint it gold. Reason 3. Our invisible enemy, tax drag. Every raise feels amazing until you realize the government is your silent business partner. That extra $5,000? Say goodbye to 30 or 40% of it between income tax, CPP, and EI. It's like celebrating a promotion only to find out your boss invited the CRA to the party. Now, I'm not saying taxes are evil. They fund healthcare, education, and the roads we complain about. But for the average worker, it's death by 1,000 deductions. And because we rarely talk about after-tax income, people mistake their gross salary for reality. You might be offered $80,000, but you'll only ever see about $55,000. Here's where most young Canadians get stuck. They confuse income with wealth. Income means money flows to you if you show up. Wealth means money flows to you even when you don't. Your job pays bills. Your assets buy freedom. If you're relying only on a salary, you don't own your time. You rent it to your employer at an hourly rate. That's why someone making $80,000 a year can still feel broke next to someone earning half who invests consistently. Because the investor's money is working full-time, even when they're not. Let's talk about why that happens. The system's built to keep you busy, not rich. Employers pay just enough to make leaving inconvenient. Banks offer you credit to keep you comfortable. Advertisers whisper that you've earned a new iPhone, because if you feel good, you'll keep spending. It's a loop. You buy happiness in 12-month installments and it expires faster than the warranty. And since everyone around you is doing the same, it feels normal. You're not reckless, you're relatable. Meanwhile, the people quietly building wealth are doing the opposite of what looks flashy. They're buying ETFs monthly, not sneakers weekly. They drive cars that don't scream for attention. They understand money's job isn't to be spent. It's to work overtime so you don't have to. It's boring, and that's exactly why it works. Boring is consistent. Consistent builds compound. And compound is the closest thing to magic the financial world has ever seen. So let's rebuild the playbook, one that actually makes sense in today's Canada. Step 1. Track your real spending. Not the rounded version in your head. The raw, unfiltered truth. No aesthetic notion boards or pastel Excel sheets. Just brutal honesty. Where does every loony go? Most people think they're bad with money because they don't budget. But the truth is, they're just not aware. Money leaks out in small ways. A coffee here, a late-night Uber there. By the end of the month, you're wondering why your account looks like it survived a natural disaster. Tracking isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. Because once you see the pattern, you can change it. Step 2. Automate your investing. If you never see the money, you'll never miss it. Set up automatic transfers to your TFSA or RRSP the same day you get paid. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. A TFSA is basically a tax-free superpower, and too many people ignore it until their 30s. If you start investing even $200 a month in broad market ETFs, your future self will want to send you a thank you card. And if the word ETF still feels intimidating, don't worry. It's just a fancy way of saying a basket of investments that does the work for you. Think of it like Netflix for your money. You pay once, and it automatically gives you variety. Step 3. Build skills that raise your rate, not your hours. You'll never outwork the system, but you can outskill it. Learn things that make you harder to replace. Whether it's digital marketing, coding, sales, video editing, or design. Skills that scale your income are your real superpower. Your boss won't hand you freedom. You build it yourself. And if you're freelancing, remember this. Charge for the problem you solve, not the hours you spend. People don't buy time. They buy transformation. Step 4. Guard your mind against comparison. Half of rich Instagram is financed by credit cards and optimism. Don't fall for it. The highlight reel you're comparing yourself to is often just debt-wearing designer shoes. You're not behind. You're just on a quieter path. And that's okay. Because the truth is, wealth isn't loud. It's calm. It's silent. It's waking up and realizing your bills are paid, your investments are growing, and you don't need to chase every shiny thing to feel worthy. Here's another layer nobody talks about. Emotional spending. We don't just buy things. We buy feelings. You don't need another pair of sneakers. You need to feel like you're progressing. You don't order Uber Eats because you're lazy. You do it because you're exhausted and craving convenience. Money isn't just math. It's psychology. And once you understand your triggers, you gain control. Try this. Every time you're about to buy something, ask, what feeling am I trying to purchase? If it's comfort, maybe you just need rest. If it's validation, maybe you need to remind yourself that you're already doing enough. That one question alone can save you hundreds every month and thousands over a year. Now let's talk about something heavier. The generational gap. Our parents could buy homes on one income. We need 2 incomes, side hustles, and a caffeine addiction just to afford rent. That's not laziness. That's math. The economy changed, but the expectations didn't. And because we measure success using our parents' yardstick, we end up feeling like failures for not achieving what's statistically impossible. Owning a home isn't out of reach, but it's not the only symbol of success anymore. Wealth now looks like flexibility. It's being able to choose what you work on, where you live, and how you spend your time. That's the new dream, and it's way more realistic than a white picket fence. So, where do we go from here? We start small, but consistent, one financial habit at a time. Automate your savings. Track your spending weekly. Set a no impulse buy rule for 24 hours before big purchases. Learn one new income skill every 6 months. If you do those things for a year, your finances will look unrecognizable. And here's the funny part. The more you control your money, the less it controls you. You start to realize you were never really broke. You were just misaligned. You were chasing the wrong definition of success. Feeling broke on a good salary doesn't mean you failed. It means you're playing the game on a hard mode, without a cheat sheet. But now you've got one. You don't need a raise to feel rich. You need a system that keeps your money when you get one. You need habits that make saving automatic and spending intentional. You need to stop renting your time and start owning your future. Because real wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how little you need to stress about. It's peace, it's options, it's time. And that's something every young Canadian can build, even without a trust fund or a miracle stock pick. Thanks for listening to The Canadian Climb. If this helped you see money a little differently, hit subscribe and ring the bell. I drop 2 new videos a week to help you work smarter and live freer. Until next time, keep climbing, Canada.